Hello, my name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at the weekly energies for today's Monday's Musings. I feel a real soft gentility, a real desire to let go of unnecessary conflict with not only who I am, all angles of who I am, but in that the recognition that by doing so I'm letting go of any indecisions in what I'm here to do. And that feels really poignant this week. There's a gentle invitation amongst the chaos of it all for us to see what is in front of us, for us to feel the rhythm, the beat of our own heart, to recognize areas where we may not have the strength to do what is being asked of us or what we believe is being asked of us, so that we can truly incorporate the help that we seek, the help that is needed, but also end up more in alignment with what is going to come through for us next year. I've had a few insights over the last, I would say 12 months, but definitely the last 6 months, going into the number 8, which is what we all will next year. Through my own age, I've been feeling into the vibration, and the number 8 is my astrological vibration, at least. And that's going to come to light next year. What is our frequency here? What is the frequency that we have gifted to the earth in our presence here? So no matter how you look at it, planets align a certain way and at certain degrees and in certain positions when each person is born, and that's individual and unique to that person. So whether you want to believe there's something in that or not, there's still a uniqueness there. There's still almost a map, a path, a frequency, a vibration that that person coming here brings. And that's really going to come to light for us. I can see where they're going now. This next year, I just realised I've been gifted some cards from my brother. Screen flicked. From my sister-in-law and my brother for Christmas, and I opened them early, and they're karma cards, but they're based on astrology, and I don't really know that much about astrology, or at least I haven't learned that much through academia regarding astrology, but I seem to be, as the years go on, developing an almost innate remembrance of the stars. Next year, yes, of course, we have, as we step into the strength energy, the strength card in the tarot, we also step into the star energy. So next year we're really going to, I didn't realise this until saying it, be brought forth and in alignment with our own lineage in regards to galactic lineage. Now this, as you can see with me scratching my ear, is an uncomfortable energy for me, even though I do incorporate it into the Moon Eye Key. I'm not one of those that sits and gazes at the stars, even though I feel I want to. I seem to be blocking that. And this week in particular, I hear the song, it needs to slow down a little bit. I hear the song Follow the Wandering Star, or whatever that song is, that carol song there, recognizing that you are the vision that you came here to fulfill. And next year, knowing that whatever comes up and gives you oomph for that, energy for that, creativity for that, drive for that, hyperdrive, even for that, it's going to be quite quick next year for those that are in alignment. Whatever comes up for you is about obtaining that vision for yourself and for those around you and for your very, dare I say it, purpose, mission, whatever, for you here. Not a big fan of that normally. I firmly believe you're here and that is enough, and it is. And this week being very aware of seeing a greater picture, but also bringing it back to what is in front of you. Otherwise it could be a bit overwhelming. I'm being shown an analogy now of almost following the star to the Christ consciousness and trusting the steps in front of you. So really this year, as we step into 2024, as this year starts to close and we go into the next year, we are going to get insights into the bigger picture, which is about connecting to our own divinity and our own light. And yes, of course, that includes our own galactic lineage and our own physical ancestral lineage. Everything that we are going to be stepping into next year. which involves surrendering everything that we are not, or everything that now no longer serves us. And even that feels like an old narrative. It's not about surrendering it, it's about release. There's a difference between surrender and release, and we are really going to feel that this week. How? By stepping into what it is we came here to do. So the beginning of this video, it felt very calm, very gentle, very nurturing, very yin-like, knowing I'm here to read the energies for the week ahead, and that is what I'm going to do. We can be distracted by the whys, the hows, the whens this week, and that's great. That can help us see a bigger picture. So the information that came through by exploring this more yin type energy. However, we are facing the return of the masculine. We are facing the return of the light as we come into the solstice. By all means expanding, by all means investigating, but also bringing it back to what is in front of us with focus. This week is going to be key. Lots shifting. There's lots shifting on a physical level, and that is why it's important to recognize where our strengths lie. So an example, I've just had blood results back again, and I'm not surprised to find out that I'm anemic. I'm not surprised because one, that's an ongoing process with my journey, and two, I'm very acutely aware I've been giving my energy to situations and not having the same returned, and acutely aware that that is having a physical impact on me now. Also acutely aware of the energy that it takes to hold things back that now wish to be seen, and that could really come up this week as we step into the solstice. We're stepping into light. What happens when we have more light? We have more shadow, more hidden aspects. Not shadow as in negative, but things that are now ready to be perceived from a different vibration. You know, the only difference between light and shadow is the vibration. So think of it as the Dulux chart. It's all one energy, but the light is up here and the dark, the shadow is down here. It's all still the same energy. So of course, this week things may come to light, but knowing that we have, in surrendering, in releasing whatever we are ready to release and trusting the body with that, we may not be able to figure it out. And that's the beauty of this week, going into the complete unknown and trusting the navigational system within us, that star, that emotional light within us that just says, I'm ready to be gentle, or I need to do, or I'm going to rest today, I'm going to shop today, I'm going to paint today, I'm going to, whatever is on your list, but really feeling into this deeper, highly attuned navigational system within you is going to help you just naturally release that isn't in alignment with that, without even needing to know what that is this week. It won't be until next year that we think, oh my God, I haven't spoken to so-and-so for so long, or oh my God, I haven't done such and such for ages, particularly with routines. We may have things set in stone that we really want to achieve and we've been trying so hard. But this week, if we feel into our intuitive energy and do that draws us, do that we navigate towards naturally, those things that are for us are going to occur anyway. They're going to occur anyway, but it won't be until next year, probably halfway through next year, that we think, wow, I wanted to lose weight. I set the intention and I haven't really managed to do the things I thought would achieve that, but here I am, X amount of weight less, or more fit, or more healthy, or whatever. Trusting in the power of intuition, trusting in what you say you are here to do. So I am here to look at the energies for this week. I never know how it's going to come out, but sure enough, here it is. Showing up, trusting that you are here to do what you said you are here to do. Flowing with that, but not getting too expecting it to be done for you, but also not trying to control it. Finding that sweet spot, that yin and yang, that sacred union of being and doing at once is possible. How we expand our energy, we expand our expectations, we expand our wisdom, our knowledge, our connection even to ourselves. This week we are going to see sides of us that we didn't even know existed. Potential, an example, sorry. Interesting that not to use examples this week to reinforce arguments. If we're going to use examples, why? What is the benefit behind it? What is the information we're trying to get across? Focusing more on that. Not to use them just to purely solidify your argument this week. So little insight there. An example I always believed I was quite a wishy-washy manifester. Great for the bigger picture. When it came to the everyday stuff, not that great. Or really great with the everyday stuff, but not with the bigger picture. It's always something that's kind of, I guess, been projected onto me that I have gratefully accepted, so I don't have to take responsibility. Okay, we all have our shadows. Yesterday I noticed, even though I believe myself to be a dreamer and a bit woo-hoo or whatever expectations or descriptions I want to use, discussing some options for our shop with my husband, I realised I'm very focused. I'm very focused, and I have a great way of expanding and seeing a bigger picture, but also bringing it back to the now. Now, this isn't something I didn't know deep down in my core, but it is something that I forgot or not appreciated as much. And this week, we're really going to be shown skills that we have that we may not have appreciated, but in different ways through the application of life. So we might be doing something and there might be a big row in front of us, and we manage to calm the situation down. Yes, that can be quite, oh my God, especially this time of year, right? Families are renowned for it. You know, people are renowned for quarrelling this time of year for stress reasons and whatever, the expectations, the pressure, whatever. We can then step back and think, I brought peace to that. This is actually a skill. I might not enjoy it while it happens because I'm right in it. But if I step back, I can see I've been quite good at this throughout my life. This is a vibration, a frequency, a skill that I bring to this place where I am right now. Recognizing also that our vibration is a skill. It is a constant, we need constant attention on our vibration. It's like a wayward child, like a loose cannon, a free horse. Be aware of where our energy is going. Observe ourselves. One, you're going to find the skills that you didn't realize that you had, and they will be through the lessons that you've had in life. That's not coincidental. It's up to us what we choose to take forward from that, right? Another example today, I was feeling into how curious I used to be as a person. Oh my God, I get myself in some right states and some right predicaments. And I had so much fun with it. I'm not going to lie, I had so much fun with it. And I can look back and think, oh yeah, I was emotionally immature. I was learning, I was experiencing life, I was discovering life. I've noticed in myself that there's a bit of caution there now. That's come with the awareness, which is great, but it's also held me back. So this week, really fine-tuning those lessons. How it's like a real, try and get it really across this week. How have they impacted you? Truly, I'm not as spontaneous as I used to be, and then on the other hand I crave freedom that can only come from my own spontaneity. So really fine-tuning that and really balancing that this week so that we know what essence to take forward. It's not about releasing the lesson, the story, not about releasing any of that, but you can only carry so much forward. It's about purifying what it is you take forward, that essence now. So when we go into next year, yes, it is about our divinity. Yes, it is about the light that we choose to take forward, but it is about that swift connection to the feminine. You know, there's a great misconception that the feminine is laid back, totally receiving, doesn't move, doesn't do anything, accepts everything, can hold space for everything. You can only hold space truly for one aspect of that at a time. You know, a female, even when she delivers twins or triplets or whatever, she is delivering a child. Okay, she's delivering that energy. So yes, being expansive in the energy that we're choosing to create with, but being very focused on the intention of that. A woman that is pregnant with several children, yes, there's an expansive energy of new life there. But it's still new life, and that's the focus of the energy, giving birth to new life. So this week in particular, really feeling what you want to create in the next year, expanding and getting help and seeking, you know, guidance from as many energies as you choose to, as much as you feel you need to, but fine-tuning and concentrating the essence of the lesson that's going to help you take that forward, the intention, knowing the power of the intention. yes, it can help us see the bigger picture, but it also must help us focus on what is in front of us as well, so that we know the steps. Not only so that we know the steps, but so that we can recognize the steps we're already taking without even knowing. Because then we kind of give ourselves a break, right? We don't beat ourselves up for not sticking to the diet if we know that walking with our grandchildren every week, which brings us joy, is helping us lose weight, which was what the intention was. It becomes more full, more embodied, less controlled, less restrictive. More yin, but also focused with the yang there. Next year, as we connect to the strength card and the star card vibration, yes, it is going to be about strength, gentle strength, strong strength, divine strength, whatever, but it is going to be about how we connect to the feminine also. That is going to be different for everybody, but also the feminine has changed, and we must recognize that. We must recognize that every time our awareness of the feminine develops, evolves, changes, like any living energy, any living entity, that also evolves. The energy of the feminine has evolved. We're going to see another side next year to ourselves, to each other, to the feminine, and being really, really open to that. So even our belief of what the feminine is through our lessons, through what we offer, is going to be more focused, more driven. What I see is and what? It's one thing to know how we're applying that to life. That also is the feminine. That also is the feminine. Okay. I'm very tempted to go into the beyond genders and Yes, we know that. We know that. So even expanding that, even really expanding what genders are in 2024 is going to be key, beyond anything that we are. Knowing that we label something to understand it. We label something, it separates it, it gives it polarity, we then understand it and we bring it back to the whole. Once we understand something, we become it. We can relate to it, we can resonate with it, we can adapt our frequency to it. So on that notion, really thinking about where that understanding is now going to take us. How are we going to bring that all together? If we've labelled this, this and this, and we're bringing it all together, what does that look like as we go into 2024? Are we going to go beyond gender? Are we going to go beyond physical, mental, emotional health and bring it all together as health as a whole? Are we going to unite with the feminine next year? We've pulled her apart. She's this, she's that, and the masculine, they're this, they're that. We've understood it. Are we going to embody next year what it is we have discovered? Because only then do we truly become our own divinity and light. So on that note, I'm going to embody what my intention was, because I do have plans for this afternoon. I'm going to look into the energies for this week, and I felt really drawn to use the Modern Spellcasters Tarot by Melanie Marquis. And sure enough, there on the front cover is the Empress, is the feminine. Now, look at that. She's actually quite strong, quite determined. She's almost looking back over her shoulder at the stubborn bullheadedness around her own imagery and what she has come to be. And there's a big archway there waiting for us to almost walk through. I want to use these because it's the Spellcaster's Tarot, and again, it's about having that wisdom and creating magic with it, having that wisdom and applying it to life, having that wisdom and embodying it in all we do, knowing that an intention is only as good as the person that's intending it. Okay. Oh, and it is, I get it, it is hard, especially this time of year where there's a lack of energy, there's a lack of inspiration. I was talking to a dear sister of mine in America the other day, and, you know, putting the world's to, not rights, but having a good old chin wag about life in general, and knowing that things take work, and that work involves evolving what they're made of, in, you know, feeding them with what they are, what they consist of. So love takes love to grow as love. It's not something that is just there without being tended to. Everything is like a flower, right? It all takes nurture. Love takes nurture to expand into love. You know, inspiration needs inspiration to continue creating inspiration. health needs health in order to remain healthy and grow in that health. So routine needs routine to remain strict and in its own routine. So what are you trying to create next year, even this week in particular? What do you envision for yourself? How can you embody that? How can you add to that? Are you seeking, unconditional love? Are you feeding that with your own unconditional love? Are you seeking inspiration? Are you doing things that inspire you? And it might not be related to where you need the inspiration. So if you need inspiration at work, it may not be that work is there to inspire you, but other areas are there to top you up and inspire you as a person, so that when you go to work, you become the inspiration. So really recognizing that we are to become the light next year. We are to become the medicine. We are to become the lessons in everything that we do. So what do we need? If we want more love, how can we give that to ourselves so that we can give it to others? If we need more time out, if we need to relax, if we need change, how can we gift that to ourselves in order to provide that for others? If we need inspiration, what inspires us? And that's a real dark area that can be, particularly when we've always known. An example, my son's moved out of home. I'm getting to that beautiful ripe age, ripe being the word, where it isn't going to be about everybody else. And I've loved that. Of course, I've loved that. It's given me a great calling and I've discovered much. And I'm facing that perimenopausal stage of what now? And yes, it can be great and it can be curious, and it can also be frightening and dark and unknown. Feeling into that, the areas that have changed. What inspires me? Well, what used to inspire me doesn't anymore. Well, obviously, because you've grown. Obviously. So what does? Explore that, evolve. Yeah? Anyway, energies this week. Funny enough, I'm playing with the sun card at the bottom of the pack. Energies this week and how to best navigate them. I'm looking at a lighter that I have with a character with glasses on. And I, yes, have decided not to wear my glasses for this reading. I'm happy with seeing what is in front of me. I'm happy with just focusing on what is in front of me in the level that I am able to. And that feels quite poignant this week as we feel into, we're not quite the new year yet. We're not quite the new year yet. So focusing on what is in front of us, chopping wood, carrying water, one step at a time is really key, so that it's on my lighter, right? So that we don't burn ourselves out, so that we can get that inspiration. We can have ideas of what we would like. Keep showing up, trusting that the ideas are the intentions themselves, allowing them to ruminate, allowing them to float around, observing them, picking the ones that bring us interest or joy or spark something within us, but focusing ideally on what we can do at the moment, in every moment. Okay, so there feels like there's confusion with that. There feels like a not wanting to see what's going on at the moment, and that can be really uncomfortable. And this is where we bring in the beauty of balance. Yeah, we have the Page of Swords. Are all these cards upside down? So some of these cards are upside down. We're going to leave it that way. But we have the Page of Swords at the bottom of the pack, and there is this discomfort is almost a great opportunity to feel into the balance of what we don't want to take forward. Now, of course, we don't want to take money struggles forward, or we don't want to take work concerns forward, or relationships that aren't working that great forward. But it actually feels like it's not that simple this week, particularly on the Monday, but overall for the energy, it's not that simple. Oh, I just don't want to take that forward. Well, obviously we don't. But it's more what is the energy we don't want to take forward. So it could be the stressing about money. Yes, I know that's ideal. Well, in an ideal world, none of us would stress about it, but everything is a choice. And this week it really feels almost as if that needs to be turned on its head. That really needs to be turned upright on its head, because we're not being quite as mature as we can be with our mental mindset this week, because it's tiring, right? It's like, yeah, but it's been 12 months of this, or however long of this, and I've tried positive thinking, and I've done this and I've done that. No, if that isn't working, cut out what isn't. And it could be positive thinking isn't working for you, and this is a great opportunity to see where you're truly at in that discomfort, so that you can cut out the bits that don't work for you anymore, which could be avoidance, bypassing. Definitely something that's come up for me this week. certain areas that I haven't looked at because I haven't been ready, and that's okay. Having that compassion for yourself, knowing that you're able to look at things now and sort things out now because you're in a different place, and because perhaps you've tried every other way, and that can then give you the solace of knowing you did your best. Okay, really this week, giving ourselves a break, acknowledging the energy that we don't want to take forward, which could be the berating. It could be that, oh, I need to sort this out and I can't do it. And looking at where we're going around in a mental loop is almost what we're being guided not to take forward this week. Okay, so on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Overall, we do have the Three of Pentacles here, and there is a great opportunity to start co-collaborating with people. Okay, I can't do this, so can you do this? Can you look at this side of it for me? Or seeking a different perspective, seeking a different viewpoint, recognizing where you're seeking it from. So there is a potential here of people lording advice and guidance over us, okay, and almost feeling as if we're the children of a situation. Also believing that when we ask for guidance, when we seek guidance, that it's outside of us. This week we're really being shown that that isn't the case. Okay, knowing that we need to ask for help. By asking for help, we are saying to ourselves, this is where I'm at, this is what I need. And that's part, almost most of the battle this week, is to recognize where we're at so that we can start co-collaborating with our needs, our higher self, and other people as a result. Looking at the energy we're asking for help from, because what that does is gives us a great opportunity to see where we're asking for help from. So for argument's sake, or again, there's that argument's sake, right? Being very mindful of that this week as we lead into Christmas. As an example, say you're having concerns in your relationship and you go to somebody that's also having concerns in their relationship, or somebody that doesn't like your partner, or somebody that thinks you've changed since you've been in the relationship and they can't quite have their whatever, ulterior motives this week. That happens and they reinforce everything that you're feeling about the relationship, but not really helping you move forward or helping you bring in a different potential. Really owning that reflection, really looking at that and thinking, okay, so where am I being stubborn here? I've sought out someone that's going to reflect back the things that I already know. I've sought someone that's going to reflect back, the energy that's going to keep me in this loop of confusion. Seeking advice this week from those you might not have normally. Yes, it can be uncomfortable. Yes, certain things can come to light that we may not want to look at. Is going to give you a different perspective of your own feelings and your own emotions about the situation. We can be very comfortable or become quite complacent in cycles that we have got familiar with, particularly with trauma. There's a real thing of those in certain traumas will seek out others in the same situation. Okay, and befriend them even without knowing. So really looking at what is being created with the advice and the guidance that you're seeking. Even when we ask for help outside of ourselves, it's beautiful, but we're also saying that we are lower than the help that we're seeking. We may find that people are in a more professional position or in a more perceived, learned position. But ultimately, only you know your situation. So really recognizing that, really standing in that, and then seeking aid from that perspective is going to make a big, big difference. And going to be the help that you're seeking. So you can guarantee you go to somebody for advice, and you go to them for advice confident in who you are. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have that reflected back. You may go to somebody that reads for you, and you think, well, I already knew that. Yes, that's the whole point. That's the empowering point of, well, I knew that. Okay, I've got that. So I know what I've got to do. Very fine line with that today in particular, but this week. And it can be quite confusing, but it's all a great opportunity to see where you're asking for help from, what energy, and whether or not that's actually true for you. On the Monday, the majority of the week, there's a lot of minor arcanas. There's only 2 major arcanas, which is the Emperor and the Devil. And it's almost like I want to put them to one side, but actually the energy this week is we can't put it to one side anymore. These things need to be dealt with. We've seen the light, so to speak, behind them. We've seen the opportunities that are there. We've seen the things that need to change. And the Emperor is saying, so what are we going to do about it? Okay, and that can be quite, there's something there that isn't quite ready to be seen. So we'll read the rest of the cards, but there is a resistance there. There's a reluctance there. It does feel as if it's leading into the full moon. More information will come to light with the full moon post Christmas. Yeah, there's normally quite a charge to get things done at the end of this year. I was saying to my husband, we don't really connect to the environment around us, particularly in the UK. It's cold, it's winter, things are releasing, and yet at this time of year I see everyone want to start new things. At the end of the year we have to start new things. I've gone out on my walk today and it's cold and I'm wrapped up warm and I'm enjoying the trees and the winter around me, that chance to go within. And I've never seen so many people running in my life, out running in their shorts and t-shirt, like suddenly bringing in this new beginning, whilst all around me I can see the world trying to let go. Feeling into where we are in our environment and how well connected we are to our environment, how truthful we are being with what is occurring around us and the impact that's having on us. Not being in so much of a rush, okay, looking at what is being brought to light here and what we are being asked to do truly as a result. And that's not to say that those people that are running aren't releasing their health that wasn't as great as they wanted it to, but is it the right time right now, feeling into that? Because we do have the shadow aspect of the Emperor that can go in charging, particularly on the Monday and the Tuesday. That energy is there. We do have that shadow aspect of the Emperor that can go on charging through, not wanting to see what is going on in front of them, just wanting to change it straight away before they get all the facts. And that's going to be key this week, to get all the facts from ourselves and others as well, and ourselves through the reflection of others this week. On the Monday we have the Knight of Wands, and much as we can have the higher perspective in this card in particular, you see that this character is on the back of an eagle, so we have that higher perspective. Much as we can have that higher perspective in the deck, he is facing towards the Three of Pentacles. The higher perspective comes from the guidance that we seek, and the reflection of our own internal wisdom as a result, particularly on the Monday. Before we go charging in, feel, embody, allow the higher perspective to guide us with what is occurring here. He's still very sheltered here. He's still very armored here. Okay, so there's still a lack of trust there in the energies that we're asking for help from. There's still a little bit of, I'm not quite sure, actually. So feeling into that, not acting until you really feel ready to do so. Really acknowledging the different views that are coming to light on the Monday. On the Tuesday, we face the other direction completely. There's no looking behind us anymore and seeing what has occurred and what has been crafted or delivered on the Tuesday. We're ready to move forward mentally. So we have the Knight of Swords here, and what you can see is almost this beginning of the Emperor bull that we have here, and the Empress as well, that beginning of that need to charge forward, bearing in mind it's mental. Okay, so that, I almost feel like the discomfort on the Monday and Tuesday between spiritually where we would like to be, our ambition and our drive, and mentally the steps we believe we need to take forward. What I would suggest on the Wednesday is the Two of Swords, an opportunity just to pause and to look at both of them, to ensure that they're aligned, to ensure that our spiritual drive is in alignment with our mental capacity here. Okay, so taking time back and observing ourselves, seeing our skills and our mindset, where our head is at, and whether or not that is, whether we believe in our ability on a spiritual level to create what it is we're trying to create, because that is inspiration. That is what's going to keep us going mentally throughout this almost winter's discontent, almost like the darkness as we lead into the solstice. We have a few more days, guys. By the end of the week, things hopefully will start to lighten up. I'm looking at the cards. But by the end of the week, we do have the solstice. So the days, particularly in the UK, will start to get longer and brighter. So really just allowing that backwards, forwards, so that you can find a middle ground, whether that's relationships, work, yourself, allowing that backwards taking an opportunity to step back, observe the bigger picture, looking at our emotional drive, our belief, our hopes, our intentions on a spiritual level, and then making sure our mind is aligned with that and the energy that we want to take forward before we go charging in. On the Wednesday, it feels like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are a great opportunity almost to culminate the lessons, the wisdom, the messages that come up, because on the Wednesday we do have the Two of Swords. We can be ready. We can be ready to act. We can show up in whatever way is needed, but pausing, that masculine, that feminine, that yin, that yang, that light, that dark, having the emotions behind us rather than fearing them, having our emotional intelligence and that wolf behind us, guiding us. We have the mountains behind us, and the mountains are in the east. They are the Apus, they are the spirits of wisdom, they are the path of wisdom that we continue to walk. They are the obstacles that we face that ultimately are within us. Okay, so they're behind us now. They are behind us, taking a moment to know that half the battle is to ensure that our mind and our spirit are working together. And once that happens, that gives that intention that full force. So allowing that to occur in every moment before we go charging in is going to be key throughout the whole week, but particularly by the Wednesday. Not fearing the emotions, being at one with them, using them for the intuitive knowledge that they now bring. On the Thursday and Friday, we have our two major arcanas, which are the Emperor and the Devil. And this is where I feel quite tired. I feel almost as if they're the energies that are guiding us all week, and I almost want to take them out of the equation. But to take the major arcanas, the major players, the divine connection out of the equation is what's leaving us feeling tired. So let's bring them back into the pack, back into the oomph that we are now looking for, back into the seeking what now do we need to end, what now do we need to act on, what now are we ready to look at in order to gift ourselves the freedom that is required to move forward by the end of the week. And it's going to come from divine inspiration, it's going to come from divine guidance. How do we feel about that? How do we feel about acting on the information? You know, you get those moments that relate to you, but you might not like the way that they're being given to you. You might not like the person that's saying them. You might not like the belief system behind it. You might be totally against spirituality. You might be against tarot cards, right? And you watch this video and think, oh shit, that really resonates. But actually, I don't like Kirsty. And actually, I don't like tarot cards. And actually, it's all da-da-da-da-da-da. Don't let your view of how the message comes through deny the wisdom of your response to it. Oh, gosh, now that's I need to quote that, you know, because what you're doing is you're allowing your beliefs and your judgments to stand in the way of divine guidance there of your own, not anyone else's, your own emotional intelligence, your own, with the Emperor here, your own connection to what is right for you. So ultimately, that is being reflected to you almost inhibits what you're here to learn. It becomes a projection rather than a reflection. You know, projections start off as reflections. What's going on there? What are you feeling? What are you really seeing? What are you sensing here? There's confusion. There's a chance on the Thursday and Friday for a little bit of gaslighting, particularly around the Christmas period. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that, and feel into why you may be resisting that information, why you may be resisting that energy, because that's just as valid and needs to be trusted just as much. So being really aware of that. On the Saturday and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. On the Saturday and Sunday, so the day before Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Excuse me. There's a need to pause with the actual work that's being asked of us. There's a need to pause and remember our whys. No, it's beyond that. What I hear when I look at this card is put a lid on it. Okay, keep it, you know, Why are we doing what we are doing? What are we sheltering ourselves from? Where is the true work? And it is physical work. So yes, we can relate that to our jobs, our bodies, our routines, our intentions. Really reflecting. It feels like Saturday is a beautiful time, and I know the chances of that are quite slim. So even if you get 5 minutes while you're stuck in a queue buying something for somebody, or preparing a dinner, or whatever it is you're doing, taking an opportunity to pause and to reflect. And there may be moments where you think, what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, so it's coming to light for a reason. It's very hard because it's almost like when we see our shadow's shadow, when we see that hidden aspect, it's like, oh my God, there's like a light bulb moment that we don't want to see. And I really feel that on the Saturday, like trying to block that out. But it is a great opportunity to put a lid on some of the things that now need to be contained. Some of the energies that have had their day, I really feel that on the Saturday. Okay, on the Sunday, that's going to need nurturing. Christmas Eve is a time for nurture. Christmas Eve, you know, I love this because on the 8 of Pentacles here, we have that dog and that squirrel almost being caged in as a form of protection. And let's remember that. I feel that in my heart. It was only ever from a place of protection. It was only ever, you know, the shadow, the work has only ever been from a place of trying to protect us when we're vulnerable. Trying to protect the abundance of our wisdom, of our beauty, of our unconditional love, of our emotions. It was only ever to protect us from the storm. When we realise on the Saturday that actually, cliche as it sounds, we are the storm and we can't protect ourselves from ourselves, and you know, the more open we are with who we are, the easier that's going to be, the less we're going to need that protection. On the Sunday, on Christmas Eve, the squirrel and the dog, you see that? Return to the lap of the mother. The feet and the lap of the mother. So we're not dealing with this smaller energy where we have to protect the money, we have to protect the loyalty, we have to protect this saving for a rainy day, we have to hold on to things. On this come the Sunday, we realise if we're not careful, it's the things that hold us. How stable are they? How stable is money alone, or even love alone? How stable are all these things? There's a need for balance on the Sunday, but ultimately, it's the Great Mother that holds us. It's the feminine that holds us. It's the feminine that's going to be holding us all next year. So how comfortable do we feel in that? What is the feminine to us? How comfortable do we feel in our own nurture? Taking an opportunity to be with our bodies, to be held by our bodies on the Sunday is going to be key. How grounded are we in the work that we've done, in the lessons that we've learned, in the light that has been brought to our attention, and the actions that we take as a result. So we have 42 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up. We have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's put that one there. So we have one wand card, and I would normally go to the swords, but it feels important here to know that there's only one wand card. There's one spirit that's the driving force this week, the one energy that's going to guide us forward, really honing into who you are beyond the labels, beyond what is expected of you, beyond what you've expected of yourself. Really stepping back and seeing the higher perspective of yourself this week is going to be key, because it's that that's going to drive you forward. And if that means reflecting back on the things that you've been through, great, but not the lessons. Not the lessons, the end result, you now as you are. A real return coming with the solstice, and allowing that spiritual insight to be embodied in your actions this week is going to be key. We then have a beautiful balance of 2 swords and 2 major arcanas, and that doesn't feel as if it's by accident. It's almost like if we can align our thoughts with the higher energies around us, if we can really feel into how attuned we are to our environment and realize the skill that is, the ability to see what is going on, feel it, mirror it, embody it in what is occurring, makes the obstacles, the mountains, the apus no longer outside of us but within us. And it's that we're being asked to do this week with the 2 sword cards. It's not about rushing forward mentally, it's about having peace with the mental process that is going on within us, knowing that just by having an awareness, just by observing where our head is at this week, that alone is going to create great change. There is some humour there. There is some humour there, and it's almost like a need to lighten up. There may be things that we repeat, and lightening up with that, having some curiosity with that. Remember, we can only repeat something if we have the assumptions and the expectations of what something was before. If we're doing something and we feel as if we're doing it again, then we aren't living a new experience. We are repeating what happened to us. Okay, so we can only ever do that if we don't allow the new of that experience to come in. So we can change a whole experience by seeing it from a different perspective, by embodying it from a different perspective, feeling it from a different perspective. We can be in an argument, particularly, as I say, this time of year, with family members, shop store assistants, the person that wants the present that we want, whatever, the turkey. If the turkey's burnt, we can be in an argument with whatever is going on, or a conflict or a disagreement or a dissonance with whatever is going on. If we're going to do that and be right in the middle of it, we're experiencing it from where we once were. If we're going to step back, we can see what is actually occurring, embody it on a different level, and change the whole situation, for us at least, which then may just have a knock-on effect on others. Particularly if you're someone that wouldn't normally keep the peace. Let's face it, we all have those moments that wouldn't normally keep the peace, and suddenly you're keeping the peace. People are going to think, wow, that's different. Have fun with that. Take on different roles. Some of the shadow work we do with the Moon Eye Key is we step into shadow characters, people that we may not be keen on, or energies of those people rather that we may not be keen on, and that's key. Remembering you're stepping into the energy. So you might see peace as someone, in a monastery miles away, and that can feel totally unattainable. You're stepping into what peace means to you, okay? You're stepping into what that energy means to you. And when we do that, one, we have a lot of fun, but also we see many different angles, not only of the situation and the person that first evokes that in us, but ourselves as well. That is really going to be key in how we create physically this week. We have 3 pentacle cards, the 3, the 8, the Queen. What's missing, what the difference between the 3 and the 8 is the 5. So what's been taken out of the equation is that 5 of Pentacles, that woe is me, I can't do anything. No, actually we're going to nurture that. We're going to nurture that person that feels like they're stuck, that nothing's going to change. How? By holding them, witnessing them, embodying them, ourselves included, and going, do you know what? Try something different here. Let's try a different angle here. Let's seek help. Let's put a lid on what no longer aids us. Let's have the honesty and integrity to say, this doesn't work for me. Diets don't work for me. Diet plans don't work for me. I find them boring. I find them restrictive. And I dig my heels and I go the other way. And I can look at all the 1,000,001 reasons why and but ultimately they don't work for me. What works for me is eating what I want, when I want, and trusting my body. That works for me. So really this week, finding what works for you. Because beyond it, there's a hidden aspect here coming to light. There's a hidden side of us coming to light that actually shows us with the Devil and the Emperor that provided we are in energetic alignment with what we're trying to achieve, it is possible. Now that brings up a lot. How can that be possible? Does it bring up a lot? Feel into that. If you wanted to feel at peace and you stepped into the energy of peace, do you feel at peace? If you wanted to feel alive and you stepped into what that energy of inspiration and aliveness felt like to you, how do you feel? Alive. If you wanted to feel happy, if you allowed that smile on your face for whatever reason, you don't need a reason, but you just curiously allowed that smile on your face and allowed yourself to feel happy without what is going on inside you, what you're feeling, there's a glimmer of happiness there. This week that's going to come to light that if we embody what it is we truly want to achieve, we become the intention, and just how powerful that is. Of course, we can get caught up in the whys we haven't, and we can get caught up in the stories behind it if we choose to, and we can continue to hold ourselves back and imprison that, or with curiosity and a bit of introspection and a lot of hope in some miracles, ourselves included, by stepping into what we want to achieve, anything could actually be possible this week. Take care, and I shall see you Christmas Day.